best part about this Mother's Day is that both my mothers, so my mother-in-law and my mother, are going to be here. And I'm sure we will make every effort to ensure it's a very special day. Although every day should be Mother's Day. I went through hell. I put myself through, there was anger, there was resentment, there was despair, there was all of that. And I think it may have taken a toll even on my relationships. My ability to trust Samaira was instant, because I think that's the least we can give our children, give them our trust. And when we approach relationships with that attitude, and there's openness and acceptance and love, I think children respond beautifully to it.
Hi everyone, my name is Dishya and I'm from News 18 Showsha, and today on the occasion of Mother's Day, we've got our beautiful Diya Mirza sitting with us to talk about how motherhood has been for her. Hi Diya, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dishya.
This year I think it's extra special because Mother's Day is falling a little later and it's also coinciding somewhere close to Avyaan's birthday.
Yeah.
So what are the plans this year?
I've said this before and I will say it again, that the most extraordinary thing to have happened to me is to become a mother. And Avyaan's birth and the way it all happened, and just to witness his spirit of survival, his strength, his fortitude, it just, makes his birthday such a special moment for all of us. And he himself now is at an age where he's very excited about the prospect of her birthday. So we started with birthday month, and every day he sings happy birthday in different animal sounds. Oh. So as a bumblebee, as a cat, as a dog, as a moo cow, and it's adorable. So given that he's so excited and he's so much more aware of the concept of a birthday party, because now he's attended a few himself, we are planning a bit of a birthday party. We will of course ensure that it's absolutely sustainable and it's single-use plastics free, and is as old school as possible, because we grew up with those sweet intimate interactions and games, and I want Avyaan to enjoy and cherish those moments just as much as we did growing up. So yeah, it's going to be a fun picnic in the garden, which is our favorite place. That's where we got married. That's where all our birthday parties happen. So it's going to be a picnic in the garden with all his classmates and our friends and their children. And I'm very, very excited about it.
Has he given you any list of to-dos?
So when I asked him what he would like for his birthday, he said picnic. He said he wanted a tiger cake. And he said he wanted sugarcane juice. The demands were quite simple, I must say.
Very 90s theme this
yes,
sounds.
Yes, it is.
And what plans for Mother's Day this year?
I don't know. Let's see what the kids have up their sleeve. But the good and the best part about this Mother's Day is that both my mothers, so my mother-in-law and my mother, are going to be here. And I'm sure we will make every effort to ensure it's a very special day. Although every day should be Mother's Day.
I wanted to also ask that every year, kids normally have milestones. Like, the first moment they got up, they walked, they said the first word. But with mothers also, they also have their firsts. Yeah. So in the past 1 year, what were your milestones as a mother?
Dishya, it's always the small moments that make it really special. And I think that ability to appreciate the little moments magnifies significantly when you become a parent. And so I'll give you an example. After a long, hard day at work, when I've barely managed to have time with my child, but at night, after he's asleep, I always make sure that I give him a kiss and I whisper I love you to him. And no matter how deep in sleep he is, he always responds. He always says, I love you too, Mama. And I can't even begin to tell you how in that moment, all your weariness, all your exhaustion, everything just dissipates and you are filled with this overwhelming love and a sense of fulfillment. So For me, the milestones lie in these moments, these little moments that complete you as a person, that remind you that you are loving and that you are loved.
One thing I look up the most about you is that you're one of those few stars who've gone ahead and did not let age come in the way of embracing motherhood, because most of my friends who are in their 30s who are looking at becoming parents, they're always told the fact that but you're in your 30s, it'll get a little difficult, it's going to be little medically, or there's going to be a lot of age gap issues and everything. Did you, when you decided to become a mom, come across such statements?
Oh, of course. I mean, the first thing that I think every woman experiences right through her 20s, and then once you hit your early 30s, is the question of when are you going to be a mother? And then that's always followed up with, but your biological clock is ticking.
Exactly.
And the truth with my experience and journey has been that I was ready to be a mother very young. I always wanted to be a mother. So motherhood happened to me much later. In fact, I was 39 when I delivered Avyaan. And that was not how I would have hoped for it to be. But, life has its own plans for you and you have to just go with the flow. And I feel like I was able to conceive and have my child when I dropped all fear and I dropped that anxiousness and that, that desperation that I was feeling to be a parent. And I think every single one of my friends who has gone through the experience of, struggling to conceive has discovered that the moment they stop stressing about it, they stop being anxious about it, it happens. So it's more likely for you to conceive and have a child if you're not stressed about it. It's easier to conceive when you're in your 20s, agreed, biologically. And of course, pregnancies like mine are called, or were called, what are they? Geriatric pregnancies. It's a horrific word, but it's used because medically that's, the age and stage that the female body is at. And it does lead to complications. But having said that, I think when you are ready fully to have a child, and you also have a child at an age and stage of your life when you're better prepared for it, you have a better understanding of it, there's a larger acceptance for it, and a deeper desire for it, you can just be a better parent. In my case, of course, there were complications that were medical, but I don't think that had anything to do with my age. I think it had more to do with, just the fact that now 1 in 5 women, because of environmental pressures and stress, are having complicated pregnancies. They are delivering prematurely. It's that the percentage of women who are delivering prematurely is going up. Now, can it be linked with pollution, air pollution? Can it be linked with environmental stress? Yes, doctors are agreeing more and more that these things have links. But I think for any human being who wants to be a parent, they must choose when it's the best time for them and do it when they're absolutely ready.
If I remember correctly, in one of your interviews, you'd mentioned, I think it's been a while since that interview, where you mentioned on the lines that, by the age of 30, you were hoping that you'd become a mom.
Yeah.
For most people.
Because that's conditioning, no, Dishya?
Yeah.
I mean, you've grown up with the idea of, and you set personal milestones for yourself that by the time I'm 26, I want to be married. Before I'm 30, I want to have my first child, etc. But life plays out the way life has to play out. And I think that it is that resistance to how life is playing out for you that creates stress and tension and trauma and all kinds of problems. And the only way to genuinely find happiness is to find acceptance in the way things are panning out. And of course, for me, I was absolutely sure that I wanted to be a parent. So there was absolutely no doubt in my mind that I wanted to have a child.
But at the age when you'd set that personal benchmark for yourself, when you had crossed that particular age, did you ever feel did you pressurize yourself?
Oh, absolutely.
And how did you move past
I went through hell. I put myself through, there was anger, there was resentment, there was despair. There was all of that, and I think it may have taken a toll even on my relationships. So it's natural for it to affect you, affect your relationships when you're hard on yourself and you have such rigid conditioning. And it takes for your own understanding of yourself to say, hey, 1 second, what am I doing here? I'm just making things worse. I just need to step back and assess why things are not happening the way they need to. And if it is not happening for a certain reason, you need to then work on, fixing the problem or stepping back from it and just taking a break and giving yourself a break more than anything else. I think as women, we are too hard on ourselves. And that's a combination of many things. It may be social conditioning, it may be patriarchy, but most often than not, it's just us being very hard on ourselves. Yeah.
Before Avyaan came around, you had also embraced motherhood thanks to Samaira.
Yeah.
I remember you talking extensively about her in your previous interviews, but I was curious to know, that always when a new person walks into your life and you are walking into someone else's life, there comes a point where you all realize that, okay, I can trust this person.
Yeah.
When was that moment in both of your lives?
So for me, because I was the adult in the relationship, my ability to trust Samaira was instant, because I think that's the least we can give our children, give them our trust. And when we approach relationships with that attitude and there's openness and acceptance and love, I think children respond beautifully to it. And they respond beautifully to an absence of judgment. And I was very fortunate that Samaira found acceptance for me very, very quickly and took to me very fast. And I always express my gratitude for that, because it would be impossible for us to be the unit that we are, the family that we are, without her generosity, without her acceptance. So it's, and I also think that in many ways, Samaira coming into my life facilitated Avyaan happening to us, because when you feel that level of love and that peace, and your body starts releasing these hormones that make it conducive for you to become pregnant. There's so many parents who after adopting a child become pregnant. So it's a two-way path, really. And Samaira completed my life. And she helped, I think, in many ways make Avyaan happen.
It's so nice to hear that.
It's true though. It's absolutely true.
Last year in one of your interviews with your mom, I remember when she had told you that growing up, you were like a motherly figure in your groups, in your family and everything. While growing up, or now when you look back today, are there few qualities of your mom that you have embraced and are incorporating in how you bring up Avyaan?
Oh my God, there is so much of my mother in me. In fact, I don't think you can separate the two of us, because I've said this before, I feel like our umbilical cord was never severed. There's still that deep connection, but also through life, through the vicissitudes, just the kind of fortitude my mother has carried with her, and her resilience and her ability to keep her heart open no matter what the circumstance, no matter what the kind of people she's interacting with, and her spirit of curiosity, her childlikeness, her large-heartedness, her generosity, and more than anything else, her simplicity. There's so many things, her love for nature. Everything has, I think, percolated into my being, and all of that is something that both Samaira and Avyaan are exposed to, and hopefully will nurture them into becoming kind, empathetic, good people.
And are there qualities of your mom that you're seeing that you don't want to incorporate?
Yeah, of course. I remember when I was growing up, my mom could be very short on patience. And when she would lose her patience, she could be rude and she could snap. And I remember being very, very clear in my mind that no matter how angry I am or how irritated I am, I will never use a tone of disrespect with anyone, not with my children, not with anybody. And that's something I've been very conscious of, that I do even with my children, and I hope to continue to do through life. But I also do it in all my interactions with everybody I work with or I have to interact with. I think it's very important to have that self-awareness and to be very clear that this is something I never want to do. That even in my anger, I don't want to disrespect anybody. It's important to express your feelings, but do it in a way that you don't disrespect someone. And of course, my mom has never meant to be disrespectful or hurtful, but because she did not have that awareness, she was not able to,
find a way
discover that she could, work around it. But now that and I've now been an adult for quite a while, and I've expressed to her that it's something that I don't appreciate. And it's her ability to learn also that has helped her unlearn certain habits. So it's something that she doesn't do anymore as well for quite a few years now. And that's wonderful to see and again learn from, because I think it's a great example that it's never too late to unlearn some of your own patterns and to be open enough and gracious enough to say, okay, this is something we need to change.
Yeah, I think I've noticed this among parents of our generation, where our mothers are more willing to understand and fix their issues.
Yeah.
And, are reaching out to their kids that, okay, you tell me, where do you think that we can work around this? And I remember I was having this conversation with my mom, and she told me that, she couldn't have this conversation with her mother. Because of the way they've all brought up and the way they've been in a particular set way. So I like that our mothers are able to have that conversation.
Yeah, my mother's always been my best friend. And it's been like a very open, communicative relationship. And she's always been accessible. I think one of the greatest qualities my mother has always had is her ability to give me space. While being involved, while being fully aware of what's happening. I mean, there have been times when she's seen me going through some of the biggest struggles of my life, but if she sensed that I don't want her to, get involved, she will step back and do it with a great amount of resolve and only step in when I'm ready. So I think that's a great quality for a parent to have, mother or father. I hope I can imbibe that quality.
Same. The respecting of boundaries.
Yeah, and space. Yeah.
Very important. Yeah, I agree with you. I hope as we grow older, we also can
do the same for our children. Yeah.
I want to ask my last question. You've been, after Avyaan came in, you've still done 2 projects and you're still managing to balance work. We've not heard the next project that you're signing. So is there any good news that we can expect anytime soon?
Yeah, I've actually completed another wonderful project, IC814, which will be out soon. I worked on other 2-3 films also. So work has continued. Of course, Dishya, you know that over the years, I've never really overdone it. I always choose things that choose me, and I do work that, really, really fulfills me, because there is so much else that I'm juggling with. And I think the most wonderful thing about being a mother and having the support system that I have in my husband and my mother, being, there to oversee things and make sure the kids are safe and they're comfortable and that, they're well taken care of while I can go away and work, has been the biggest advantage. And a lot of people say, how are you juggling between your roles with the UN or the work that you do, with other civil society organizations or even the acting work? And I always say that firstly, I think we need to stop compartmentalizing women and saying that once you become a parent or once you become, your responsibilities as a married person or a parent increase, you have to stop being in pursuit of your own path, which is individual and which fulfills the purpose of your being. I think it's absolutely unfair to do that to any person, man or woman. And it happens a lot with women. And I think some of us have the privilege of having a really strong support system, so we can step away and do more. Because the fact of the matter is that between the age of 0 to 5, a child inherently needs the mother more, and I think I'm just really lucky that I can, make time to do the things that I love and that I'm passionate about.
And I love the fact that you handpick roles and not overexpose, because every time we get to see you on screen, it feels like a breeze. I'm like, finally, she's come after a good break. I love seeing you on screen.
Yeah, I love being in front of the camera. I love being these characters that I've played. I don't think, and this has come from a great amount of self-assuredness and security. When we were younger, we were constantly told that after we're 27, 28, we won't be getting the parts that we really want to do. Work will be limited. And all of that is true. But I'm just so excited that more and more young actors are, becoming mothers, are choosing to continue being working professionals while they're being responsible parents. And I think it's a great example for the following generation to understand that you don't need to choose one or the other. You can work with both, and it's possible. And I'm very proud. I'm very proud of Bheed. I'm very proud of Thappad. I'm very proud of Thak Thak. I'm very proud of Grey, which was a short film that I did. I'm just really happy that I'm able to be a part of stuff that's meaningful,
Thank you so much for talking to me. Thank you so much for hosting me in your beautiful house.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing this special conversation with me.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mirza, and you're watching News 18 Showsha.